Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. RealitySpirituality. It's a new experience. RealitySpirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one now. RealitySpirituality. You got a question for RLN? RealitySpirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Oh, now we getting real. Yeah, it's time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, that's what I'm talking about.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, Global Happiness Specialist and Inner Peace Practitioner, Rebecca L. Norrington. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing the show. I'm getting so many new listeners, new follows. It's just organically happening. I really, really appreciate the emails. I appreciate the questions. And I'm so excited. Yes, last week I took off a week. I had a visitor at the treehouse. It was my best friend. So I did take off a week, but I'm so excited. You know, I love these shows, and I love talking to you and sharing with you what I've learned. And when I say happiness specialist, peace practitioner, what am I talking about? Well, to start off, but before I do that, let me just welcome you to call into the show. You can talk to me live, ask a question. The number is area code 646-564-9619. Again, area code 646-564-9619. Get in the queue, press the number 1, and you can speak to me live if you have a question or even a comment. So let me just do my introduction by saying that what I share with you on the show, and I just looked at this is the 10th season of Reality Spirituality. 10 years. What? And this is the 187th or 88th episode of Reality Spirituality. Wow. The time just flies by. But with all of that, let me share with especially my new listeners, because the people that have listened to me for a long time have heard it before, but this is important. And you know the interesting thing is, sometimes I can hear the same thing over and over and over again, but I don't really get it. I don't really digest it until maybe years later. You know what that is? You get everything when it's time. You get everything that you need when it's time for you to receive it. I like to say we're avocados. We're all avocados. I don't think that I'm different than you. We're all avocados. Some of us are ripe, some of us aren't. But so going back to happiness, let me share my definition of happiness. My definition of happiness is the ability to be at peace, regardless of what happens and regardless of what doesn't happen. And when I say happiness, it is the same. When I say happiness is a state of mind. Happiness is a state in mind. Happiness is a vibration of contentment, a vibration of peace. Happiness is an energy. Happiness is a foundation. You know, what are you rooted in? Well, I'm rooted in this foundation. I know happiness, sometimes that word gets a bad rap, but I'm rooted in happiness. I'm rooted, stuck, deeply rooted. So I make all decisions, conscious decisions, based on, is this going to bring more peace? Is this aligned with the peaceful vibration? And it's either yes or no. It's very simple. And let me give you a physical example of what I mean when I say happiness. So pretend you're in a rowboat in the middle of the Atlantic. The waves are crashing. The storms are brewing. it's turbulent, and you're standing, not sitting, standing in your rowboat, balancing, of course, and you are at peace. Your shoulders are down. You feel relaxed because the storm does not affect who you are, or what you're vibrating at all. So happiness is the ability to be at peace regardless of what happens. And let me tell you this. I shared it a while ago. I even posted this article online. Got a lot of interesting comments. In September, I met Walter OBrien. Now, Walter OBrien, I had never heard of him, but I'd never heard of him before I met him. But he's worth millions of dollars. I think the last time it was $50 million. And he is information technologist, a businessman, $50 million. He's the one that I guess they wrote that TV series about Scorpion. I guess this is reported. He's supposedly a genius, 197. He has a bulletproof Hummer, on and on. He stopped terrorists. These are his claims. He stopped terrorists in the United States. Anyway, I wanted to meet him. I was at this networking event, and hey, I'd like to meet a genius. I do consider myself a genius, even though haven't been tested. And the funny thing is, when I met him, and I've talked about it before, but I just want to bring it up again because I have so many new listeners. He looked at me, and I told him I'm a happiness specialist, and he says, "Well, you've wasted 35 years of your life studying and pursuing happiness. You've contributed," and he said all of these things. I mean, I was less than 2 feet away from him. He said, you've contributed zero to this planet. Searching for happiness and inner peace is delusional. What I've accomplished," he was talking about me, "what you accomplished can't be measured, therefore you've accomplished nothing." That was one of my personal favorites. I'm selfish, I'm toxic, and if the clients that I coach or the clients that I see don't employ at least 1,000 individuals, then I'm wasting my time and I've accomplished nothing. Now, as I stood there, and this just happened a couple months ago, as I stood there and took the bullets, bam, bam, right to the face, right to the heart, right between the eyes, bullets, baseball bat to the back of the head, I couldn't help. I laughed out loud. I couldn't help but laugh because of what I practiced. And that's the only reason I was able to laugh, because I'm sure, well, scratch that, I'm not sure. What is the percentage of someone who is high-powered, known all over the world, $50 million, CBS television show about him, it's called Scorpion, genius, sits there and insults little old me. So that's after that I wrote my article, A Moment in the Life of a Toxic, Selfish, Delusional, and Unimportant Happiness Specialist. So that's what I teach on this show. That's what I share on the show, how to journey, how to navigate through this life. Because, life is like the stock market. Life is like the roller coaster, up, down, up, down, up, down. We don't know what we're going to get around the corner. So what happens is, what do you practice every moment? What do you practice in your moments? And I'm going to ask you, on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is happiness in your life? I had a few people that I just was introduced to last week, and I always send this questionnaire out, and I get it back, and that's how we start the one-on-one. So how, on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is happiness in your life? And not one person that wrote back said it was a 10. I get it. I totally get it. But if it's not a 10, if it's not a 10, if you aren't committed and you don't prioritize it, and I already explained it, happiness is a state of mind, a state in mind. It's a vibration. It's an energy. It's a foundation. It's a commitment. It's a commitment. And I promise you that once you, it's when I say foundation, it's just like building a house. Before you build a house, before you build a building, a skyscraper, you have to have the foundation. And so my foundation is rooted in peace. My foundation is rooted in happiness and contentment. And all those words are the same to me. I'm not going to say, well, one word means, why aren't you throwing in joy? It's a vibration. It's a feeling. It's an energy. And that is my foundation. And why? Well, when I was younger, I asked when you celebrate a birthday and you make a wish, and you throw a coin into a fountain and you make a wish, I always wished for the same two things. I wanted to live to my potential, whatever the hell that was. I had no clue. I had no specific vision of what that meant. I just said I want to live to my potential. And the second thing I asked, the second thing I wanted, the second thing I wished for is I wanted to be happy. And you know, and I know that when you ask, you receive. Now, I'm not talking about asking for money. I'm not talking about asking for a house. I'm talking about asking for universal gifts. Show me, teach me, guide me, lead me, universe. Help me. That's what I'm talking about. I know this world, this program, the world of man, and it's always the external, but there's too many people out there. There's too much evidence out there where people have everything you could imagine. The houses, the cars, the audience, the followers, millions of followers, and unhappy. And in fact, that just ties me into one of my favorite studies was done by Bronnie Ware, and I've said this a million times too, but I have to keep repeating it because there's so many new people finding the show. Bronnie Ware, B-R-O-N-N-I-E, Ware, W-A-R-E. You can Google her, and it's called The 5 Most Common Regrets of the Dying. And one of the 5 most common regrets of the dying is, I wish I was happier. I wish I would have been happier. I wish I would have, let me just read it exactly. Here we go. I wish I had let myself be happier. Many of her patients didn't realize until the end of their lives that happiness is a choice. I say happiness is a practice skill. Happiness is a practice skill. And so what I share on this show is what to practice. What do you practice? And happiness is a practice skill. Like any other skill, the more you commit to the practice, and it is a daily practice, the better the results. So the question that you want to ask yourself every day is, are you ready to prioritize happiness more than anything else? And that's only a question that you can answer. So the question is, on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is happiness in your life? And then my other question to you is, what's your definition of happiness? Third question, what or who is subtracting from your happiness today? And then the fourth question, are you as happy when you're faced with life's inevitable challenges? And the following questions are just yes or no. So you have to answer them. I'm not going to say maybe, sometimes. I mean, you can say that. But one of the things on the show is I like to be very, very clear. It's not, there's no gray areas. You can't feel angry and grateful at the same time. You can't feel sad and at peace at the same time. So when I say I like being very clear, that's what I mean. So Answer yes or no. Can other people hurt your feelings? It's either a yes or a no. Can other people offend you? Can other people disappoint you? Do you blame other people for how you feel? And do you blame your circumstances for how you feel? So those are either yes or no questions. And if you answered yes to any of those, guess what? I got some things you could practice. I got some behaviors that you can practice. And again, let me ask you, what is the most important relationship? What is the most important relationship you can have? I say, my answer is the relationship I have with the universe. I use the term universe. You can say God. You can say higher power, source, energy, Lord, Jesus, whatever term you want to use for that entity. What kind of relationship do you have with the universe? I'm talking to the universe all day, and sometimes I'm not nice. Sometimes I'm not nice. Sometimes I curse them out. Sometimes I say thank you. But most of the time I'm saying, not most of the time, but a lot of times I'm saying, I hate you, universe. With not a real hate, but, oh, God, universe, this? Really? And I always get back, well, you claim you're a happiness specialist. You claim you're an inner peace practitioner. Here, take this. Woo! Today's topic, and again, the number to call in is area code 646-564-9619. Again, area code 646-564-9619. Today's topic is one of the practices that I don't know anybody that was taught this. I don't know anyone that was taught this. Is the practice of having patience. Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. When I talk about the programming, the programming for unhappiness, I don't know about you, but we have a lot of patience for puppies and babies. But where is the baby's growing up, the baby can't walk, the baby doesn't have any teeth, feed the baby, bathe the baby, clothe the baby, dress the baby, help the, all of patience for the baby when the baby is growing up. A lot of patience with the growing. Same thing with the animals. Baby, puppy, baby puppy, puppy, kitten, a lot of patience. They're babies. They're so cute. But where's the patience? Who taught us to have patience with ourselves? Who taught us to have patience with the way life unfolds? Don't think I'm running around here. Hey, everything's happening exactly the way I want it to happen. Yay! No, if you ask me, the universe is about 10 years late. With all the things, 10 years late, at least 10 years late, maybe 20. And let me give you a current story, which I have to, must, need. There's no exception. I have to. I'm forced to. I have no other choice other than to practice patience. If you listen to the show, you've heard the story. When my mother died in October 2018, she gifted the family house to the handyman. This is October 2018. House goes to the handyman. There was a year and a half of legal battle. Got the house back. Now listen to this one. And you know, I wanted to point the blame at the handyman, at the mother, at the attorney, all of it. Now, the attorney that wrote out the amendment, drafting a special request to the handyman for the family house, he's still in the picture. And in fact, he has put this In other words, it's 2021, almost going to 2022, and my family's trust has not been closed. There's still things that need to be done. And let me say this, because you can hear me, you can hear my energy. I was not going to just sit and say, oh, okay. Because before I got on the happiness, I was one to carry a hammer everywhere I went. I'm a fighter. I'm a scrapper. That was my nature. But the universe has taught me, the universe has forced me, instead of fighting with a hammer, instead of fighting with a baseball bat or a double shotgun, listen to this. Listen to what they've done. Listen to what they've tied my hands, handcuffed me. You know what my weapon is now when fighting? Oh, it's just, I can't even, it just makes me sick. It's a feather. The universe has directed me all fights with a feather. Now, do I accomplish that all the time? Of course not. But that is what I have been instructed to do. And quite frankly, not to fight. This year, 2021, I've sent 17 emails to this attorney who still has the power over my family's trust. When is this going to close? When are you filing with the court to close this trust? When? And I told you he's not a fan of mine. So finally, the document was filed November the 2nd this year, and there's a hearing in January 2022. This whole last year, and I'm going to say because of listen, I'm not a fan. I mean, he's not a fan of mine. So, attorneys, because I used to work in a law office, attorneys can drag anything out, and they can do it legally. They could scheduling, sickness, someone meeting. They could do it any way they want, especially if someone like me has, said a couple of things in emails. A whole year of asking and waiting and asking and not getting responses. How am I supposed to be happy? How am I supposed to be at peace? How am I supposed to vibrate this contentment and be impatient? See, you can't be content. You can't vibrate peace and impatience at the same time. So it's a whatever you are experiencing, and I say we are as different as our fingerprints, because we all have our own unique journey. And whatever you are experiencing, whether it's negative thoughts, whether it is a personal family matter, whether it's finances, whether it's health, whatever you are experiencing, I know it's difficult. I know it's not easy. Growth is not easy. It's part of your journey. So what's in your way? This isn't my line. This is Guy Finley's line, but I love this line. Guy Finley says, Findley is one of the people I like to listen to. Guy Finley says, what's in your way is part of your way. Genius. And that is the truth. The problem when we are faced with life's challenges, ups and downs, it's automatically judgment of this is good or this is bad. This is right or this is wrong. See, all judgments subtract from your happiness. What you can do, what you can practice is just describing. I had a whole year, it's going to be over a year, a whole year of waiting, a whole year of unanswered emails. Now, I'm not going to say that was a mistake. I'm not going to say that was bad. I'm not going to say that was wrong. I'm going to say, apparently, listen, if I was running the world, apparently that was necessary. Because I'm either going to be patient, I'm either going to practice patience, or I'm going to be bothered, or I'm going to be or annoyed, or I'm going to be anxious, or I'm going to be irritated. I don't like those feelings. I had a lifetime of, trust me, if the wind was blowing the wrong way, woo, get out of my way. But there's no peace in that. So when I go back to saying commit, what's from a scale from 1 to 10, how important is peace, the energy of peace, the vibration of peace, the energy of the vibration of contentment, how important is that to you? How important is that? And only you can answer. So you ask yourself every day, every moment, are you ready to prioritize happiness over everything else? And your answer is going to determine how much peace, how much contentment you're going to experience. It is not an easy task. I wish I could raise my hand and say, oh, it's been so easy. But let me say this, spiritual, personal growth, looking in the mirror for solutions, looking in the mirror, which is very powerful, but also very, very, it's hard to look in the mirror. It's hard to look in the mirror and not blame circumstances, or not blame the relationships you have. It's very difficult to do that, but I'm promising you that the key, the path to growth is uncomfortable. It's difficult. It doesn't feel good, and the worst is having the patience for it. Growing is patience. You can't rush growth. But guess what you can do? You can measure. You can feel the difference. You can feel how you used to do and behave and respond 6 months ago, and now you're doing something different. And I'm going to use myself as an example. Let me tell you something. I'm waiting for over a year of responses to emails. Over a year, no responses. Well, guess what? And I always talk about it. What's good about that? How is that benefiting me? Well, patience equals more peace. It's just that simple. I know it's not easy. I know the anxious. I know that. I feel it. I'm going through it. But patience equals more peace. Patience equals more contentment, more happiness, that vibration, that energy. Let me just talk about this blaming, because I get that a lot. I was reading a Facebook page a couple of days ago, and this woman said, I'm going through a divorce. Finally, he's leaving, and then of course she had to throw in, which is really funny. She had to throw in that this person is still cheating, and he's still cheating, but I'm going to keep the memories. The blame about someone else doing something to you. When you look at each experience, and you ask, when I say, what's your relationship with the universe? And you ask the universe, how is this serving me? How is this, where's the good, universe? Where's the good? And I guarantee that you can look back in your life. I know there's evidence in your life. I know you have evidence of times, of struggles, of challenges that you've gone through, and you can look back and say, wow, look at that. Look what I gained. Look what I saw. Look what I can see. Look how my consciousness has grown. Look how I've evolved. But sometimes it takes time. And do you have the patience for the time that it takes to grow? So it's not the circumstances. It's not your relationship. It's not your health. It's not your aches and pains. It's not money. It's not how much you weigh. It's not your children. It's not your parents. Your happiness depends on what you practice on a daily basis. Your peace, the peace depends on what you practice. So what if you want to, so say your circumstances don't change. Say you're going through a very challenging time right now. I mean, I don't know what's going on. There's a full moon. I'm up here, universe, what's going on? And what I do is I stand in it. Number one, you stand in whatever circumstance you're going through, you stand in, and the first thing you do is you drop your shoulders and you say, I accept it. First thing you do, I accept. Whatever this moment is bringing me, I accept. And again, remember, it's a practice. So the more you practice, the easier it gets. Because, trust me, the beginning, I'm not accepting this, but it's an acceptance. Then you drop your shoulders, and then you remember. You remember that whatever is happening is there to serve you. And then you can ask the question, hey, universe, excuse me, universe, but I'm going through something here. Can you help me find the good in whatever this crap is right now? Can you help me find the good? And can you help me find the good, can you do it? Can you speed it up a little bit? Can you expedite it? But once you practice acceptance, where's the good, and you surrender, and then you repeat it over and over and over again. And not only do you repeat it, you live it. When I talk about happiness, a state of mind, when I talk about peace and contentment, that practice becomes your identity. It becomes who you are. So you can be in the same presence of a Walter OBrien, and he can insult you and say that you've wasted 35 years of your life, and that you're toxic and you're unimportant, and you've contributed zero to this planet. And searching for happiness and inner peace is delusional. And this growth cannot be measured. So that means you have accomplished nothing. I'm selfish. I'm toxic. So you can stand there and listen to someone, shoot bullets at you, and all I can do is smile and laugh. And you know what else the other thing is? After I was insulted, I'm not even calling them insults. They were actually fun. Thanks. I took a picture with the guy. There's no feeling bad. You think someone can hurt my feelings? You think someone can hurt my feelings? No, you can't hurt my feelings. You can't hurt my feelings, not at this stage, because whatever anyone says to me, whether it's a compliment or it's the opposite of a compliment, I'm not going to take anything that anyone says personally. That's another practice. Taking things personally that anyone says to you, trust me, it's never about them. It's never about you. It's always about them. I always give the example. What does the man with the hump in his back want more than anything else? What does the man that's walking around with a hump in his back, leaned over, eyes to the ground, can't stand up straight, what does he want more than anything else? He wants you to have a hump too. That is the truth. So these people that are angry, these people that are insulting, these people that say whatever they just want you to feel like they feel. That's all. That's not personal. It's not personal. That's another practice. When I talk about happiness as a practice skill, the first part of the practice starts with gradually eliminating all the behaviors that have been proven to subtract from happiness and peace. Now, listen, there's tons of behaviors, tons. Let me just get my list because there's no way I can remember everything. I'm adding to it. Let me just read some of the things that subtract from your happiness on a daily basis. Behaviors that we were programmed and taught that they're normal. Oh, it's normal to worry. No, it's not. If you didn't have this behavior before 2 years old, before 2, maybe 3, I don't know, maybe 4, who knows, but definitely 2. You weren't worrying at 2 years old, so you were programmed, you were taught to worry. That's not normal. Worrying is not normal. Worrying is not what everybody does. Worrying is a lack of trust. And let me go back to when you're going through in the middle of the storm. I said surrender. I said surrender. I said acceptance. And then also I forgot to throw in trust. And just trust that whatever you are experiencing is there for a reason, and it is there to serve you, regardless of how it feels. I know sometimes the shit feels like crap, but it's there. Whatever your experience is there to serve you. So what other program behaviors subtract from happiness? Blaming anyone or any circumstances for the way you feel. This is a big one. Comparing yourself to anyone else. I used to have that. Comparing, Oprah. Come on, Oprah, please. Oprah, really? Oprah, can you call me? I can help you. Oprah's got millions of people. Yeah, I used to do that. Don't anymore. But you know why? Because it doesn't add to any of my peace at all. Noticing what someone else is doing. That's another thing, is being in someone else's business. Talking negatively about what someone else is doing. Thinking, and this is a real hard one, the practice here. Thinking anything is serious, thinking anything is important. I know we were programmed to believe this is serious, this is important, but that's a different vibration. You can still get something accomplished. You can still take action, but that vibration of this is serious, this is important, that's another programming. Let go of all of that. Practice letting go of any vibration that doesn't vibrate contentment. But let me just go back to this. When I say happiness is a state in mind, what I really want to, I'm going to underline it and bold it and capitalize it. Peace is a vibration. It is an energy, just like it is your blood circulating. It is your energy. It's a vibration. And that's what I talk about, maintaining that vibration regardless of what happens. You know, when firefighters or run into a burning building, they have to remain calm. They're taught to remain calm, and that's what I'm talking about, this vibration of calm, this vibration. The other behaviors, program behaviors that subtract from happiness, this is a hard one because nobody likes to agree with me on this one. That's okay. Giving power to words, thinking words have power. You were not born, you were not innately words do not have power. At 2 years old, anybody could say anything to you. You weren't going to be insulted. Your feelings weren't going to get hurt. None of it. Words are not powerful unless you're programmed to believe that they are. Who's more powerful, the person that can be insulted or the person that can't? You know, that Walter O'Brien telling me I'm toxic, I'm selfish, I haven't contributed. All words. None of them were powerful. Absolutely none. I already talked about taking in. This is the other thing I want to share, because the show's almost over. Gosh, what a fast show. Again, anyone in the queue, if you want to speak with me, you just press the number 1. impatience. The topic was impatience, so let me just say this. The practice of patience is not an easy one. One of the things that helps me is breathing out a lot, taking a lot of exhales. Hold on a second. I have someone who wants to say hello. Oh, yes, good. Area code 951. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. What's your first name?
Nathaniel.
Hello. Area code 951. You're live.
Yes, it's Nathaniel.
Hello. Let me try
Hello.
this again. Let me try bringing you in again.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello. Area code 951.
Hello.
What's your first name?
Nathaniel.
Hello.
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 What's your first name?
Nathaniel.
Do you have a question?
I'm just kind of wondering if, I don't think you do readings, do you? What do you feel?
No, I don't do readings. Well, what I do is say that, the interesting thing about readings and people wanting readings, which I totally get. I've had readings. They're very interesting, but you still have to travel. You still have to travel, and you still have to journey through life. You still have to make decisions in all the moments. You still have to commit to prioritize a peace and contentment. You still have to do all of that. I mean, I get it. I get it, wanting to have readings. I understand it. It's very interesting. It's sometimes what do I want to say? The things that are said, the discoveries are very interesting. I get it. But you still have to look at yourself in the mirror every single day and practice and say, what can I do? What can I practice? And you know what happens? Well, let me just throw this out. What I've noticed sometimes, there's so many distractions and there's so many other things to do. From watching TV to getting tattoos. I'm not making a judgment. I'm just saying there's so many distractions. Well, when it gets down to it, it's you and that person in the mirror. And what are you doing on a daily basis? And what are you practicing on a daily basis? And with that, I'm going to wrap up the show. I really am grateful for the that come in and the listeners that have been sharing the show. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of it. So you've been listening to Reality Spirituality. And of course, I don't have this in front of me. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality with Global Happiness Specialist and Inner Peace Practitioner, Rebecca Lynn Norrington. My website is RebeccaNorrington.com. You can follow me on Twitter, RL Norrington. Follow me on Instagram, Reality Spirituality. And until next week, my dear audience, I want you to know and believe you are valuable. You are worth the practice. Happiness is a practice skill, and it depends on what. Love is patient, and love is kind. Be patient and be kind. Be your own best friend. Remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. It is about the journey. It is about the practice. Have a conscious week. Thank you for listening, and thank you for sharing the show.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open. for this one now. Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Spirituality. Oh, now we get real. Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good.